on this. Perfect. Okay, welcome everybody. Take it away, Mindy.
Oh, hi guys. Thank you all for being on this call. I am currently nursing my son, so I'm just kind of waiting that out, and then I'll be on live here in just a second. But I'm so excited for you guys to hear from Shannon. So Shannon and I actually met at I don't even remember what that was called, Shannon. That little training that Plexus put on right before COVID hit.
Yeah, it
Do
was
you remember what it was
a
called?
Super
Express.
Saturday Express,
Yeah, it
right?
was like an express training. Yeah, they were so
Yeah.
fun. And Shannon was asked to speak, and she got up and spoke. And I was like, I need to know this girl. We were both trainers, and I was like, she killed it. And so I'm just so excited for you guys to hear from her. We've stayed in touch throughout the years. We've shared ideas back and forth, and she is just so gifted. And she's a newer Emerald, so she's got a lot of great things to say, and I'm going to let her go ahead and take it away. Thanks, Shannon.
Yes, thank you. Well, I am so excited to be here with you guys. Tell me if you can see me. Do you see me on your screen? Okay. I'm like, I think it's in speaker view. Well, I'm excited to be here. Yes, I remember meeting Mindy there. I remember she was a senior Ruby, and at that point I was a senior Gold, and I was like, how can I be Mindy? So I was very attracted to her and her personality, and then come to find out, we share a mutual friend from college. So one of my friends from college was from her same hometown. It's just the craziest small world. So it's really an honor to be on here because I feel like I've learned so much from Mindy. So just quick blurb about me. I joined Plexus in 2017, promptly said, no, I'll never do the business, but was immediately intrigued then by getting my products paid for. And it just turns out that I know a lot of people, and I just really enjoyed getting my products paid for. And then I really enjoyed the extra money, and we just kept going. And then this past May, I did go Emerald for the first time, which was really exciting. And so when Mindy asked me to speak on the call, we didn't really know what I was going to talk about yet until yesterday, because I asked her, I said, hey, these are some of the things that are on my mind and heart. Do you think this would resonate with your team? She said, yes. So here is where we're going to go with this. Tonight, I am going to do a few things. I'm going to offer a little bit of encouragement, a little bit of redirection, and then some action items to take away from this. And so I'm going to try to keep it short and sweet. But I recently, when you go Emerald, you get to go to Leadership Excellence, which is an amazing experience. So it's kind of like if you've been to Gold School or Ruby's on the Rise, Leadership Excellence is kind of that times 10. And we were just poured into, and I went to Leadership Excellence in November feeling like I wasn't doing anything right. Like didn't know what to do, had no idea what I was doing. And so I tell you all of that because I don't think it matters whatever level you get to in this company, you always have that feeling of, I don't know what I'm doing, because at every new level, you have to learn new skills. And I sat and I had a conversation with another diamond, and I was just telling her some of this. And she said to me, she said, it sounds like you are chasing this ideal version of yourself. And I really want you to read this book called The Gap and the Gain. And so I instantly picked it up. And what I loved about this book is it spoke to me instantly, because I'm a real red personality. I am an achiever. I love to achieve. And so I'm in the season right now where I've had major success this year, followed by like a downward slide. So I don't know where you guys are in your business, but I've definitely felt the slowness maybe, or the awkwardness, or it's a weird season. You know, if you think about it, last December, what were we all working for? Leaders Retreat. You know, we were working for the Bloomingdale shopping spree. This year's a little different, right? We're coming back into just a little bit of a different time, if you will, of getting back on track with events. And so if you're there, I've been there. And so I just had to give myself a little bit of a pep talk. And so here is something that really struck me and has helped me change my mindset. And from this book, he says, the way to measure your progress is backward against where you started, not against your ideal. And when you achieve a certain level, right, you're like, okay, the next one. Well, as you're trying to go for the next one, but you're falling backwards, it can feel really defeating. And you're like, well, wait a minute. And so you start to focus on the gap, right? The gap of where I am today versus where I want to be. And we get stuck in thinking, well, if I could just get there, then I would feel better. Then I would feel confident. Then I would feel worthy of this rank or whatever, which we all know is not true. And that just really struck me. I'm like, oh, well, if I measure myself where I started at 0 points, afraid to do a live on Facebook, I mean, I've come a really long way, you guys. I mean, like that's pretty insane. So when I think about that and I think about where I'm at now, even if I've fallen back a little bit, still a huge gain, right? Still a huge gain. And he goes on to say that measuring yourself against an ideal is just an endless race to nowhere. And I don't know if you felt that or if you resonate with that. And he also says the reason why it's like an endless race to nowhere is because ideals are like a horizon in a desert. No matter how many steps you take forward, the horizon continues to move out of reach. And I'm like, that's so true. Like, that's what I've been doing. Like, I have this ideal in my mind and I keep trying to go for it, but it kind of moves because it's kind of arbitrary. Your ideals are there to motivate you and to encourage you, not necessarily like be that instantaneous gratification. And so something else he said that I loved is the person who fails the most wins. Okay, I don't like to fail, but I love to win. So I was like all about that. I was like, okay, if I have to fail the most to win, I'll do it. If I fail more than you do, I will win. In order to keep failing, you've got to be good enough to keep playing. And I don't know how many of you are like me, but I'm like, yeah, I'm good enough to keep playing. So I'm just going to keep failing. That's fine. Okay. So that's kind of the mindset shift I've had. And I've kind of gone, yeah, I am good enough to keep playing. I've been through this. There are seasons in this business. There's ebbs and flows. It's all very normal. You can't ride the wave 100% of the time. Most surfers, they spend 1% of their time riding a wave. The other 99%, they are in the water waiting for the wave, just waiting, right? Doing what they need to do to be ready for the wave. I thought that was so interesting. Something else is, mountaintop living isn't sustainable. Think about it. You're above the tree line. There's not a lot of oxygen. You can get to the mountaintop, but you do have to kind of come back to the valley to grow and bear some fruit again and then climb back up. So I just give you all of that because this is kind of where I've been and I've had to readjust just how I think about success and my progress and what actually makes me successful. So that's a little bit of encouragement, but something I want us to do right now, I want to do a little activity with you. And I want you to remember that in this season where we've been online a lot, Kyle Rainey made this really great statement. He said, you can't get so involved in your niche that you neglect your narrative. And I think a lot of us have seen that, right? We're like, okay, how do I niche myself down? But we've forgotten our own narrative and we've forgotten our story, right? Like, how do we talk to people? What do they want to hear? And the reality is that your story matters and people want to hear your story and they want to hear it over and over and over again because the kind of people that are going to trust you are the ones that relate with your story. So you don't want to neglect your narrative. And there's this great call that Bob Heilig did that I will send Mindy. I'll send it so she can send it to you guys and I'll send it to my team too. But what I want you to do right now to kind of figure out like, what is my narrative and who am I talking to is I want you to get out a piece of paper or, use your phone or whatever. And what we want to do right now is we want to identify who is the ideal person I'm talking to when I'm online. Well, the ideal person you're talking to is who you were before Plexus. And you may have heard that before, but how do we really figure that out? And I stumbled across this yesterday and I thought this was such a good exercise. So let's just do this really quick. So I want you to think about Plexus and I want you to imagine how your life would be if it had never entered your life. Like if it was just taken away right now. Like right now, all of the products are taken away from you, the business is taken away from you. Imagine your life. So you want to take a minute and you want to picture the impact that it would have on you right now. Think about how losing it affects your future and how would it affect others in your life. So I'm just going to give like 2 minutes. I'm going to be quiet and I want you to really reflect on that. And I can type it in the comments too, but how would your life be different if Plexus was no longer a part of your life? Okay. I don't know about you, but my life would look drastically different because before Plexus entered my life, I was taking 2-hour naps every day and still not feeling rested. I was an anxious, panicky mess. My marriage was not great because I was so anxious all the time. I was not present with my kids because my anxiety was taking over. Like I just was not the best sense of myself. I was constantly, on a hamster wheel of thoughts. My body was making weird choices. They were going to put me on metformin, like all of these things, right? So if you took it away today, I'd probably be on a bunch of meds I don't want to be on and still feeling terrible. But if you took away the business from me, there's a lot that I wouldn't have. We wouldn't have certain flexibilities and things that we do now. And so the point of that exercise is for you to really think about, who am I talking to when I'm talking about what the products have done for me and what the business has done for me? And you have to go back to, who would you be if you didn't have it today? Because when we talk to people, they do not identify with where you are at now because they can't see that far, right? They can only see as far as today or maybe tomorrow. And I remember this for myself when people would talk to me about the business, like, you could go to Hawaii. And I was like, I don't care about going to Hawaii. I just want to get my products paid for, right? Like, but you could go to Hawaii. I would be the first to tell you, I don't care about going to Hawaii. Like, I don't want to go. Like, and this was 5 years ago. Now, as I got closer, did I want to go? Yeah, because I could see it, right? Like I could see myself there. So when you are talking and sharing about the business or sharing about the products, you need to tell your narrative of who you were before Plexus started helping you, because that is who will relate with you the most. Your job isn't to like talk to the masses. Your job is to talk to, who were you before the products or before the business. And so if you're having a hard time engaging with your audience right now, I want you to think about that. And I will send you this amazing video Bob Heilig did for some jewels in our community that was recorded, and it's phenomenal and just really kind of hones in on that. And I found that super encouraging this last week. So lastly, what I want to share with you right now, when it's a slow season, the one thing that you have control over is your current customer base. And I'm not saying go into management mode, and I'm not saying, don't reach out and don't keep, doing those things, but you have control over your customer base. You are in charge of that. You can't control whether or not people are going to join you tomorrow, but you can control whether or not you give the best customer care in the world. And I have always found in these seasons where it's slow, that when I transition back and I am faithful with the little things, then I am entrusted with much later. And so right now, what I've done the last month and this month is I have been communicating with my customers. I'm going back through my back office. So here are some action items, and I will send all this to Mindy too, so you have this out. But go back in your back office and go start with level ones. Look at your level ones, and you could have a lot or a little, doesn't matter, but go through and really think about who has not responded to my messages in a while. How are you communicating with them? I was coaching one of my gals the other day. She only talks to her people on Messenger and no one's messaging her back. And I said, well, why don't we text them? Why don't we send them a text and say, hey, I'm getting organized for 2023. I'm curious if this is still a good number for you. And reignite a conversation with them because they aren't responding to you there. So go here. Now, some of you may use Project Broadcast. I do too. So I've got people who are not responding to me there. So I'm going to Messenger and saying, hey, I'm curious. Do I still have the right phone number for you? Are my messages coming through? Because some of my old customers are like, oh, I just thought that was spam. Nope, it's me. Please save it as my new business number. But I'm just being really diligent and going, who have I not talked to in a while, or who has not responded to any of my messages in the last, 6 or 7 months, and really just sending that message. Hey, is this still a good number? And they might go, who is this? And I can say this, I'm Shannon, remember, and just reignite a conversation and see if they're ready to hop back on board. Okay. Do that with your levels 1 and then move to your level 2. Some of you may have 2s, 3s, 4s that you are their main contact for. do that. It's just really good customer care. You never know who could come back. Something else to do is to identify what I consider the white lines, which are those that maybe ordered with you, like go back to June. Who have I enrolled from June until last month that has quit ordering, right? Who is it within that like 120-day window, 180-day window that quit ordering? And I need to send them a message. I need to go back and I need to say, hey, I noticed you haven't ordered for a few months. I'm curious if the products didn't work out for you. Are you open to chatting with me about a new system? They just launched these amazing combos tonight. What a great starting point or talking point for someone who's never done reset before. And some of these might be things you already know, and this is not new to you, but the question is are you doing it? And in this time where things feel, like there maybe, I don't know if anyone's ordering. Well, you can't make the wave come. So sitting on your surfboard, paddling ferociously, trying to make the wave come won't work, but you can just be present and control the things around you that you can control, which is like going back, messaging some customers, offering awesome customer care. So the other thing to do is to identify 3 to 5 of your happy level 1s or 2s that are having great results. Right? If we're having good customer care, then we're chatting with people. Hey, I would love to hear what's going well for you. It's been a few months. What products are you loving? Have you tried anything new? Whatever they tell you back, you go in for the shout out. I love hearing that. I don't know if you know this, my business runs on referrals. It would really help me out if you could do a shout out. Here's how it sounds. And then you give them the post. I do this with all my new people, but I've got people that have been with me 3 or 4 years, and I'll just ask them to do it again. Hey, can we do a yearly update about how much you loved your products over the past year? And that is getting into activity, and it's purposeful. You never know who in their audience maybe wants to order. I had a gal do it a year ago and she joined. No one commented. A year later, we checked back in with each other. Let's try a shout out again. She went fast start silver, right? Because it was the right time. So ask for the shout out, because that's a great way to kind of maybe taproot and see, maybe they aren't a business builder. 98% of people come to this company never wanting the business. P.S. So the way we identify it then is we get them to do a shout out, and then we see where their influence lies. And then we walk them through that. And then through that process, they might go, yeah, I love this. Let's keep going. Okay, great. Let's do that. So doing that, and then creating, this is Emily Gibson's idea, but creating a December 27th list. And so I listened to this call by Emily Gibson the other day, and she was talking about her very first year in Plexus. She said she joined in November, she went fast start silver, and in December, she signed 1 until the week of the 27th when she signed 9. And she's like, why? Because they are saying to you after the holidays, I'll be ready when I'm after the holidays. And her thought process was, fine, then I'm going to be the first person in your inbox after the holidays. And I'm going to say, hey, it's after the holidays and I'm getting back in touch with you, just like you said you were okay with, and here's the deals, right? And I have this written up for you. So I'm going to send you, like, here are some messaging ideas you could use with this so you have it. But going back through your entire year of contacts of people who expressed interest, you sent them a sample, they never ordered, they're on the fence, whatever, put them on your December 27th list. Some of them might be right now because they're like really warm because we just got told about $1 memberships and everything else. But I wouldn't be surprised if people just aren't ready right now, and they aren't ready until the 27th. So that last week of the month is huge, because now people don't feel good. Now they're ready to focus on the new year. The person who's been the most consistent in conversations with them, posting, like I always say, consistency wins. So staying consistent right now is going to help you. And what can you do with that list? Make that list and then pop back in Messenger and chat with them about something non-Plexus related. So it's not surprising when they hear out of you on the 27th, or go comment on one of their posts. But get into activity with all of these people you've been chatting with this year, because I don't know if you're like me, I've let people fall through the cracks. I've had people, I'm like, oh, I gave you a sample and then you were going to try it and then you didn't. And now I need to check back in with you. So make your December 27th list and start working through it now if you want, or wait until the 27th when people are notoriously ready. But those are some really simple action items you can do right now. Commit to posting 5 days a week, right? Whatever it is, talk about the reset, talk about your own results, get people to do a shout out for you, be funny, be engaging. It doesn't have to be hard, but the basics of our business are being social. And so when you can do that 5 days, I know the algorithms are weird and I know our posts are getting buried, but I've got people commenting a week later. So that means right now I want to be posting about everything I hope they see next week. Right? That's fine. I just know that I want them to see it at some point before December is over, and hopefully we can get into action. So some of this may not be anything new to you, but I think it's important action items to be doing right now to set yourself up for success and to have some momentum at the end of the month, moving into January, kind of like Craig Collier talked about tonight, right? Like I don't know if you listened to him tonight, but when you're at the stoplight, do you ever take your foot off the gas or off the brake and then you're like, ready, right? We don't just step on the gas. We're like getting into momentum. So this is what I'm encouraging my team to do right now for these next 2 weeks while we feel like, where's the people? That's how I have been feeling. Where's the people? They're there. They're ready to spend their money with you just after the holidays, right? So anyway, that's really the gist of what I have, but I have all of this written out for you, Mindy, that I will send you with like my message ideas and examples I'm using. So you all can use those too. But yes, to answer your question, it was Emily Fennell that I sat and chatted with Leaders Retreat. So yes.
That doesn't surprise me. She's one of our diamonds.
Yes. Yes, that's what I know. I was like, I think you guys are all like on that same team.
Yeah. When you said the gap in the gain, I was like, oh yeah, that's Emily Fennell.
It was a God moment. It was perfect. It was exactly what I needed. Like it just settled everything down and helped me refocus.
Well, Shannon, do you have a few minutes for questions if anybody has one?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Okay, cool. Does anyone have one? I'm just getting out of the dark, so my eyes are adjusting right now, but I think I can see all of it.
And if not, that's okay too.
I have 0 questions. Everything that you said is exactly what I needed to hear. But I really just wanted to say hi, Alexa, because we're Rubies on the Rise friends. But I didn't know she was on your team, and I didn't know her face was going to be on here tonight. So that's all.
Well, that's fun.
Yeah, that's all. I needed to hear everything that you had to say, but it's so good to see her face.
Oh,
like moving, not just in a picture. So there's that.
I love that. So for those of you who don't know, Alexa is my upline. And then her mom, Cindy, is on here. And then Sarah's our diamond. But Alexa babysat my kids. That's how I learned about Plexus. So she offered me a sample and I was like, oh no, what crazy MLM did she get roped into? Oh no. And then she shared with me. I said, it's fine, but I'm not telling anybody. And we see how that went.
Now here you are.
Yeah. Yes, here I am. But yes. Well, your team is lucky to have you, Mindy. Mindy and I always love seeing what she's doing and, bouncing ideas off of her. And I love this one Plexus culture community. And like, it's phenomenal. So I love being able to bounce ideas. It's really fun.
Well, we are lucky that you said yes to coming on the call. And when you said, because I was trying to figure out what would be the best thing to talk about tonight. And you said that and I was like, yep, there it is. There should be. That's exactly what I feel like my team needs to hear. And I need to hear too. So thank you so much for doing the call and for putting it all together. You are so good at that as like your superpower is like putting all the verbiage together and getting it all like organized. And that is not my wheelhouse necessarily, my team. So thank you so much for doing that.
You're welcome. Yes. And I'll send it right over to you when we're done here. And I've recorded this, so I'll send you the recording too. So
perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great night. And thank you so much again, Shannon.
You too. Yes. Thank you, ladies. See you later.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye.